Hey, what's up everyone? Andrew here. I found inspiration in these photos to take on an insane project. Let's see what happens when we try to build a BF-109 all opened up. By that, I mean let's open up the engine cowling, gun pods, and radio compartment. I wanted to build White 6 with JG53. These BF-109s served in Italy and had awesome artwork on the fuselage. Here are some of the aftermarket components needed to open this thing up. No pressure, right? I mean, all of these things combined cost like 3 times what the kit cost. This is always the fun part, starting a project. I'm a master starting projects, you know. Finishing them? Well.
I filled some of the axis panels with Mr. Surfacer, and then I coated the sanded Mr. Surfacer with CA glue. This thin layer of CA glue makes the filled areas feel as hard as glass.
These ribs have got to go. And this axis panel's got to go too.
Huge shout out to True Color Paint for providing Flightline Media access to their entire range of paint. They have paint for both plastic and resin. Even with the flashlight, I realized that it was next to impossible to see any of the detail once closed up and assembled. Oh well, at least I know there's something in it. The original kit parts had the nav lights and the wingtips molded solid, and since we didn't want that, I got Quick Boost wingtip replacement set, which included clear nav lights. The spiral spinner was the one and only thing on this project that went easier than I thought it would go. I simply used Edwards masks and removed it, and it's slightly imperfect, but so were all the other spiral spinners on actual BF-109s, so it seemed to fit really well. This is my first build where I used interior masks to paint the frames of the canopy. I find it useful if you're displaying it with the canopy open. And we all know cockpits are never clean. Here I used Absalon oils to dirty it up. I used styrene rod to replicate the interior bracing. Sometimes I use Logitech Scriber tool to rescribe lost lines. A layer or two of primer to cover the ugliness. Sometimes I use a pin vise for rescribing lost detail. Simple but very effective. Just don't poke yourself. Not too bad. Some touch-ups needed. Ah, here we go. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
The Daimler-Benz 605 engine is so cool. Even though this engine had more than 1 million parts, it made it worth it.
One of the biggest challenges of assembling the engine was actually plumbing it. Getting these wires to all meander through the completed engine assembly proved, well, interesting. CA glue is my go-to for this.
The BF109 being built is a BF109 G6 R6. The R6 stands for Wutsatz 6. That designation means that it had two 20mm gun pods under the wings. Even though that tremendously added to its firepower, most pilots didn't like fighting with them, since it made the plane a mule, so to speak. So I'm building an Erla BF109 here. Each factory that made 109s had their own unique paint schemes, with Erla 109s being the most interesting in my opinion.
These kabuki masks helped me capture the unique wavy scheme the Erla sported. I later would go back with the airbrush to blend it all together since it was a little too sharp for my taste. Alright, so I have two photos of White 6, both the port side. My challenge is to replicate the modeling as accurately as possible, but on the starboard side it's a complete guess. Why not paint on the markings if you can? Erla 109s often had the cross painted green, so here I'm masking the RLM 75 portion and blasting some 74 on it. And the paint peeled, right when I was finishing up. That's better.
I use Solvaset for these decals. Erla 109s had unique lower wing crosses. I didn't feel like painting these on, so happily settled for decals. I used oils and airbrushing to replicate the lower staining. Woo, never thought this moment would come. This is an 8-month build condensed in 20 minutes. More touch-ups needed on the canopy. This looks kind of weird, but I'm gently sanding the bottom of the tires since they're so round. I want to make them look a little more weighted. I decided to put the radio access door where the mechanic may have left it. I thought it looked good at the front of the wing. To me, sharp-pointed side cutters are great for antenna wire. Thanks for watching, everyone. Join our community and please consider subscribing to our channel and let us know in the comments what future projects you would like to see. Thanks.